Okay, good morning. I'm Lolly, and I am going to be teaching human garage maneuvers and what fascia is today. So, fascia is a crystalline gel-like network. It's the structure for our body, our skeleton. If we removed our skeleton from our body, our fascia would actually hold the shape of the body, because our bones don't actually touch, and our ligaments are just thin little straps. So our fascia is actually what connects everything in our body, all of our nervous system, our lymphs. It wraps around, or lymph nodes. It wraps around our muscles, our bones, ligaments. It connects down to the very cellular level. It wraps around the organs, and when we have correct diaphragmatic breathing, it is our breath is a pump for moving everything in our body. Our fascia is piezoelectric, so when we put it under pressure, when we touch it, it actually charges. It creates a charge, and that charge goes down to the cellular level and produces something called biophotons. And so our fascia is not only transmitting energy, and it also transmits light. It's very connected to the autonomic nervous system. So when we are in fight or flight, our fascia constricts and gets us ready for fast movement. When we're in parasympathetic, or rest and relaxation, or rest and recovery, it will be soft. But the problem these days is that most people stay in fight or flight. So our fascia is coarse, and it's not letting fluids through the fascial network. Most people are dehydrated, and that's due to stress, but it's also due to the fact that we're not getting enough minerals in our system. So through our diet, and there are a lot of toxins in the environment that actually dry out our fascia. So when we want to hydrate our fascia, we want to do things that are going to get us into the parasympathetic. I don't know if you heard all that noise or not. I can't imagine that you couldn't. But so the fascial maneuvers were based on the fetal position. The fetal position is something that you can do to get into rest and recovery, or the parasympathetic. It's one of the quickest ways to get into rest and recovery. Our fascia is formed somewhere around in between 3 and 10 weeks, and while we are in utero, and we're moving in very spiralized kind of movements, and so fascia really enjoys spiralized movements, slow movements. We do 3 types of breath, because the breath is very important to regulating our nervous system. So when we are in fight or flight, our breath is quick and shallow, and when we are in rest and recovery, our breaths are very diaphragmic, or they're supposed to be. Most people are, their fascia is so bound from patterns of movement, like sitting for long amounts of time, that torsos tend to be very bound fascial in the fascia. So fascial maneuvers use intention because our emotions are very much stored in our fascia. It's let's see. So we work with intention, and we are going to pin and lock certain areas. We have 3 areas in our body that we classify. So zone 1 is the neck up, and then zone 2 is the torso, and zone 3 is the hips down. So when we pin and lock by crossing our legs here, we're a pressurized system. So the diaphragm is a part of that pressurized system. So when our diaphragm is working properly, and we're breathing with our belly, it's like the piston that actually cleanses the system while we're breathing. So we're pinning and locking. We're a pressurized system that we're trying to move the pressure around inside our body to open up the fascial adhesions from the inside. So we pin and lock in zone 3, we pin and lock in zone 2, and then we're going to turn our head for zone 1, and then we counter rotate. Counter rotation is very important to fascial health. It is something that a lot of people are not getting enough diagonal. There's a fascial line, or 2 fascial lines, the diagonal fascial line that crosses in the torso. So a lot of people are not getting the counter rotation movement that we need. That's why, one of the reasons why walking is so good for our nervous system. It is one of the basic things that we need to do, counter rotation. While we're outside, our vestibular system actually helps. Walking will help reset that vestibular system, and a lot of our anxiety actually comes from the vestibular system not being regulated properly. So our breathing techniques for that go along with fascial maneuvers are the first one is we stick our tongue in our cheek because we're trying to build tension, find a spot of tension. We have a third of our lymph nodes are in our neck and head out of our all 600 to 700 lymph nodes that we have in our body. So there are, the fascia on the head doesn't get very much attention. So that's why we stick our tongue in our cheek and try to find a point of tension, and we breathe in through the nose and out through the nose for 6 breaths. We use breaths in 3, 6, and 9 because of sacred geometry. A lot of things in our body actually repeat in threes, or like the ankle bone, the hip bone, and the jaw are all the same L shape. That's just an example. So the second style of breath is like we breathe in through the mouth like we're breathing through a straw. We don't exhale in between, so it can be slower than that based on whether we're trying to do something with more intention. And then the third style of breathing, we find a point over our shoulder, and that will be instructed which shoulder it will be. But we breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth for 3, and then in through the mouth and out through the mouth for 3, for a total of 6. So trying to think if I'm sure I'm leaving something out. So the first thing that we're going to do in the 15-minute reset, we would like you to do the 15-minute reset 1 to 3 times a day. If you do the reset twice a day, your stress level should go down by a lot. So you just the first maneuver is the palate swipe. So palate swipe is something that is a little bit odd, but a lot of people's palates of their mouth has actually become smaller due to patterns of mouth breathing. So I do recommend that you focus more on breathing through your nose, not necessarily while you're doing fascial maneuvers, because our breaths use in through the mouth, because when we breathe in through the mouth, it goes into the lower regions of our body. It goes deeper, it's more diaphragmic, and when we breathe through the nose, it reaches the upper regions more. So with palate swipe, you may have ridges in the top of the palate of your mouth. This is another area where we have something similar recurring in threes. So the palate of the mouth is very much a part of that pressurized system that our body is. We have 2,000 pounds of pressure beating down on us from the outside, from gravity, and the forces on the inside of our body very much counterbalance that. So the palate of the mouth is like the top of that pressurized kind of system, that U shape that is a part of it's similar to our diaphragm. And then our pelvis floor is also in that U shape that very much is a part of that pressurized system. So when we do palate swipe, you might have some big adjustments, and they might be related to your pelvis. You might hear cracking, and over time the ridges in the top of your palate will actually even out, especially if you start doing more nasal breathing throughout the day. And when we do fascial maneuvers, there are different different release symptoms that you might get. Emotions may come up. You might laugh and giggle. You might cry. You might feel like screaming. You might have redness show up on your fascia. You might have itching. You might start getting sweaty and hot. I've gotten a cramp on the inside of my ear that was really weird. There's just a lot of different release symptoms that may happen because we are a pressurized system. When we release something in this area, or if in reverse, if you have like a scar or an adhesion in one area, it's going to make the other areas work harder. Or when we actually release something on this side, it might move to a different area or affect how everything else in your body, it will change things in other areas. So you may just want to, I recommend that you just keep breathing and doing the maneuvers. You don't want to do them if there's severe pain, but it is good to ask yourself, is this pain or is it just a change in pressure? So is it discomfort based on pressure or is it severe pain, you know? So don't do anything that creates severe pain, but because the fascia very much wants to be safe, to be relaxed. So don't do anything that you're uncomfortable with, but definitely expand your boundaries like you're expanding from the inside while you're breathing and moving the fascia. So with palette swipe, you are going to cross your right foot in front of your left and put your right hand on your left shoulder, your left hand on your right shoulder. And we're going to take our right thumb and we're going to put it at the right molar on the inside of your mouth, and then swipe all the way across the top of your palette to the left. We'll pull it out and do that 6 times while we're breathing. So, and this will be in through the nose. So 1, 2, 3, and really pull in that spinal pelvic lock. You can also twist your torso more if you wanted, or turn your head, whatever creates more pressure for you. So 4, 5, and 6. All right, so our next maneuver is called Totally Twisted, and it's similar to the palette swipe. Now, in between every maneuver, you want to integrate that into your system by walking. You can walk back and forth, you can walk in a circle, or I like to walk in a figure 8, because when we walk in figure 8s, both sides of our, both hemispheres of our brain actually have to work together and communicate. So you want to walk for 1 to 3 minutes in between every maneuver that you do. Or if you are trying to save yourself some time, make sure that you go outside and get a 30-minute walk if you can't walk in between every single maneuver. And we do recommend that it is outside because, like I said earlier, it is very important that you get sunlight on a regular basis. Our circadian rhythms are very much tied to getting early morning light in our eyes, and our systems are very much needing to be in contact with the earth, to let go of a lot of the inflammation that we have in our bodies. I have grounding shoes, so that's why I'm not barefoot. But also with fascial maneuvers, you don't want to be wearing a lot of, you don't want to really wear jewelry or wear lotion, because we really want to be able to get a good grip on our fascia, and you don't want to be slippery for that. So with Totally Twisted, we're going to cross our right foot over our left. We'll put our right hand under our left armpit, our left hand on our right shoulder. I like to give myself a big hug, really create as much pressure there as possible. We're going to pull in our spinal pelvic lock, and I'm going to turn my head to the left and my torso to the right. And if you have any balance issues, you can widen your stance a little bit, or if you need to sit down, you can do these seated, and you can actually do them in bed if you are having a particularly difficult day. You can do these in bed too. You will get different effects from doing them standing than you will seated, so we definitely encourage you to try as many different ways of doing this as possible, because everybody's fascia is going to be different. Everybody's pain patterns will be different because it's based on your particular adhesions, and your adhesions are based on your patterns of movement. So we're going to have our head turned to the left, pull in that spinal pelvic lock. Our torso is turned to the right, and we'll find that spot in our left cheek. And breathe in through the nose. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Drop the tongue. Now we're going to sip in like we're sipping through a straw. So 1, 2, 3, and turn a little bit farther to the right like we're wringing ourselves out like a rag. And exhale. And we'll do that again. So 1, 2, 3, and turn yourself a little bit farther to the right, and exhale. And so now you're going to find a spot over your left shoulder, and focus on one spot in particular. And we're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. 1, 2, 3, in through the mouth, 2, and 3. So keep your hug, but come back to center nice and slowly, because we really want to move slowly for releasing the fascia. Now we're going to turn our head to the right and our torso to the left. And we're going to find that spot in our right cheek that holds a lot of tension. And we'll breathe in through the nose. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And drop the tongue. We're going to sip in like we're sipping through a straw. Make sure that spinal pelvic lock is engaged. And we are breathing in through the mouth. 2, and 3. And turn a little bit farther to the left. And exhale. And we'll do that again. So in through the mouth. 2, 3. And turn a little bit farther to the left. And exhale. Find that spot over the right shoulder, and getting a cramp. And And to look at, and we're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. 2, 3, in through the mouth. 2, 3. All right, so slowly come back to center and release. Now would be a great time to pause the video and take a 1 to 3 minute walk. But I am just going to move to totally twisted left side. So we cross the left over the right, and the left hand under the right armpit, right hand on the left shoulder. We're going to turn our head to the right and our torso to the left, and find that spot in our right cheek, and breathe into the nose, pulling your spinal pelvic up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Drop the tongue. We're going to sip in like we're sipping through a straw. 2, 3, and turn a little bit farther to the left, and pull in that spinal pelvic lock, and exhale. And again, 2, 3, and turn a little bit farther to the left, and exhale. Find a spot to stare at over your right shoulder. We're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. 2, 3, in through the mouth. 2, 3. All right, keep your hug, but come back to center nice and slow. Turn your head to the right, or to the left, and we do turn the head to the left before we turn the torso to the right. So turn your torso to the right, and make sure that spinal pelvic lock is engaged. Stick your tongue in your left cheek, and breathe into the nose. 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. Drop the tongue. We're going to sip in like we're sipping through a straw. 2, 3, and turn a little bit farther to the right, and exhale. Still looking over that left shoulder, we're going to make sure your spinal pelvic lock is engaged, and we're going to sip in like we're sipping through a straw. 2, 3, and turn a little bit farther to the right, and exhale. Now find that spot over your left shoulder to look at, and we're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. 2, 3, in through the mouth. 2, and 3, and come back to center. Now would be a good time to pause that video and walk for 1 to 3 minutes. And now I'm going to do anti-gravity. This one was one of my favorite ones. It helped my hip issues and neck issues a lot because of this diagonal line of fascia here. It is very common for people with right hip issues to also have left like neck or shoulder issues. Very, very common. So with anti-gravity, you're going to interlock your fingers. If you can, keep your thumbs together. I usually use my thumbs to help pull the fascia. You want to pull the fascia of your, like upper back towards your head as tight as you can, because in all of the maneuvers, the pinning and locking is changing the pressure, and we want to keep the pressure there to help release the fascia. So the first stance, we're going to have elbows pointed up and look up at the sky, and we'll breathe 6 times here. And then we will put our head to our chest, or our chin to our chest, and with our head, we inhale and look right. Exhale, center. Inhale, look left. Exhale, center. And we do that 3 times on each side. And then we're going to come into a skier stance as I'm looking up at the camera. And then we're going to do the same breathing that we did in the last stance. So inhale, look right. Exhale, center. Inhale, look left. Exhale, center. And we do that on 3 times on each side. Now the next stance is a full squat. If you cannot get into a full squat, just go to position 2 where your chin is to your chest, and you're really trying to create as much tension on that back line of fascia as you possibly can. So keep it nice and tight there. I'm going to go into a full squat with my elbows in between my knees, and we'll do 6 breaths. 3 in through the nose and out through the mouth, and 3 in through the mouth and out through the mouth. So, and you'll notice that they feel very different when you're down in this stance. You're going to come up butt first. So sometimes I like to stay in this position and do some breaths here. Feels really good. But you come up nice and slow, vertebrae by vertebrae, until you end up in the starting position with your elbows up at the sky. And if you feel lightheaded, just stay in this position until it goes away. So we'll do anti-gravity together now. So we're going to look up at the sky. We've got our feet about hip width apart. Pull in your spinal pelvic lock, and we're going to breathe in through the mouth. 2, 3, in through the nose. 2 and 3. If you're on your own, you can also incorporate twists side to side while you're breathing. So that feels really good too. Today we're just going to go into the second position where we take our chin to our chest and really pull that fascia. You'll really start to feel it in the middle back. That's where I feel it. If you lose grip, go ahead and get a better grip on that. And we're going to go into a skier squat. Did I skip? Yes, I did. So we're not going to go into a skier squat. We're chin to chest, and we're going to inhale through the mouth and turn our head to the right, nice and slow. Exhale, center. Inhale, left. Exhale, center. 2, right. Exhale, center. 2, left. Exhale, center. I'm going to get a better grip, and then we're going to inhale right. Exhale, center. Inhale, left. Exhale, center. And now we're going to go into the skier squat. Pull in that spinal pelvic lock. It's not unusual for people to forget about this muscle because it's very linked to the diaphragm, and all of that area is very bound. So we're going to inhale and go right. Exhale, center. Inhale, left. Exhale, center. Inhale right. Exhale center. Inhale left. Exhale center. Inhale right. Exhale center. Inhale left. Exhale center. Now we're going to come all the way down into a full squat. Like I said, if you can't get here, then go to the second position. Elbows between the knees. And we're going to breathe in through the nose. 2, 3. In through the mouth. 2, 3. And now we're going to come up butt first. And come up vertebrae by vertebrae, very slow, keeping that tension on the back line until we are all the way up, looking at the sky with our elbows nice and high. And yes, the pressure has changed and I am feeling very high right now. I usually like to bring my hands forward because this is a major lymph area. You can pump the area here. This is the most important. This is the first area that you want to address if you're trying to address your lymph nodes. Just rub in all kinds of different directions right here above your clavicle. So I'll just go over real quick what I'm doing. And this is the Big Six lymph by from Stop Chasing Pain. You're going to go right behind your jaw here, underneath your ear is number 2. The glymphatics are the lymphs in your head and neck. And you want to move these around in each spot for like, let's say 1 to 3 minutes. Just move it in all kinds of different. So the third spot is underneath your armpits. And I'm just going to point them out real quick because I think it's important. You want to do this every day. And then in your stomach, you're going to want to pump those. Now, a lot of people have a lot of lymph issues in their belly. I know I've been working on mine because I've been having issues. But you want to pump these for 1 to 3 minutes. There's like your lymph system kind of like splits at the belly button. And then this is the 4th area. So if you've ever watched Tai Chi or Qigong, you know that they have a move where they do this. So stomach was 4, this is 5. And then behind the knees is the last one you want to do. So just a bonus there. Make sure you do that every day. And then, so we're going to do swinger. This one also really helped me a lot with my pain issues. I had a lot of hip and neck pain and headaches. So with swinger, we're going to put our right hand on our left front shoulder here. And then we're going to take our left hand and pin and lock the fascia on the back of the arm here to the elbow, just as tight as you can. And we're going to look over our right shoulder. We're going to squat a little bit and pull our right elbow as far left as is comfortable. And now we're going to make sure that spinal pelvic lock is engaged. We're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. 2, 3, in through the mouth. 2 and 3. And we're going to come back up. And swinger is one of those that in the beginning you definitely want to do it on both sides. But because fascia is so intuitive and wants to assist you in your movements, any movements that you do repeatedly on one side more than the other, like people with like baseball players or people that work in factories where they do the same motion over and over again, your fascia wants to help you do that. So a lot of people will have more adhesions on their right side than their left side. And in the beginning you want to do it on both sides, but after a while you can just do it on the side that's more dominant. So for time purposes, I'm not going to do it on both sides because I'm right-handed. But this would be a good time for you to stop the video and do that on the left side, and then do your walk around for 1 to 3 minutes. And so pull over is another one that's good for shoulders and like mid-back issues and stuff. So you take your left hand and you put it in the meaty part next to the right shoulder blade, in between the shoulder blade and the armpit, and pull that fascia forward. And then we're going to take our right hand and put it at the bottom of our rib cage and grab that fascia. I have an abundance, so I can grab a full handful and pull our arms towards each other. So the back line of fascia is really, really tight there. And then we're going to pull in our spinal pelvic lock. We're going to squat a little bit. We're going to look over our right shoulder and lift that shoulder up. And then we're just going to keep pulling that shoulder and pulling that fascia as tight as we can until we meet our elbow to our knee. And you can rest it there if you feel like it. And we're still looking over our right shoulder. Pull in that spinal pelvic lock nice and tight. We're going to breathe in through the nose. 2, 3, in through the mouth. 2 and 3. And I like to come out of this as slow as I went into it. Oh, that feels really good. Sometimes I like to lean the opposite direction. I'm still really keeping a hold of my fascia. Just to kind of end off with. So we'll do that. You would pause the video and do your walking around for 1 to 3 minutes here to integrate that into our fascial system. So with our right hand, we will find that meaty spot next to our left shoulder blade and pull forward. And then we'll take our left hand and grab the fascia at the bottom of our right rib cage and pull nice and tight on the back line. So all the tension's in the back. And we look over our left shoulder, lift it up a little bit. Now we're going to squat. And we pull that fascia on the left shoulder all the way to the right knee. And that left hip's gonna go out. You're compressing your right lung, and the breath when we breathe is going to go into the left lung and expand the fascia on the back line. So breathe in through the nose. 2, 3, in through the mouth. 2 and 3. and keep that tension on that shoulder and come out just as slow as you went into it. Really keeping that fascia tight until you get back to the top. And like I said, I like to really pull the fascia the opposite way too. Feels good. So pretzel squat has not been my favorite, so that probably means that I needed it the most with my hip issues. I don't get very deep. If you can get deep, go as deep as you're comfortable. But the important thing is to be very comfortable. You don't want to, if you don't feel safe, your fascia won't release. So we're going to stand with our feet together. We'll put our right foot to our left. Pull in that spinal pelvic lock. We're going to step out with the right foot and put our right hand on our right butt cheek. We're going to put our left hand out in front of our right foot here. And we're going to look over our left shoulder. We're going to lean forward until we can see our toe on our left foot. Pull in that spinal pelvic lock again. We're going to put our left hand on our right shoulder, and our right hand is going palm out behind our back. And now we're going to squat. Just make sure that spinal pelvic lock is engaged. We're going to breathe in through the nose. We're looking over the left shoulder. 2, 3. In through the mouth. 2 and 3. Now, stay in this position, but we're going to switch arms. So the right hand is now on the left shoulder, and we're going to turn our head over to look over the right shoulder, and we'll breathe again. So in through the nose. 2, 3. In through the mouth. 2 and 3. And come up. And this is where you'll pause your video, and we're going to walk around for 1 to 3 minutes. And I am going to do pretzel squat to the left. So feet together, and then tee the left foot to the right. Step out to whatever's comfortable for you. We're going to put our left hand on our left butt cheek, our right hand out in front in line with our left foot here. And we're going to look over our right shoulder and lean forward until we can see our right foot. And we'll put our right hand on our left shoulder and our left hand palm up behind our back. Now, we're going to squat and pull in our spinal pelvic lock. We're looking over the right shoulder, and we're breathing in through the nose. 2, 3. In through the mouth. 2, 3. Swap hands positions, and look over the left shoulder and breathe in through the nose. 2, 3. In through the mouth. 2 and 3. And come back. You can pause your video and do your walk for 1 to 3 minutes. And let's see. So what would I do for jaw pain? Actually, no. What would I do for headaches? Which I don't have as frequently as I used to. A lot of headaches are actually based on dehydration. So what I would do for that is make sure you're using good filtered water that's been remineralized. You can get trace minerals. I have a Santa Via water system that puts minerals back into your water. The important thing is to not have like chlorine and fluoride in your water, because both of those can be very dehydrating to your fascia. I would do an electrolyte drink. I make my own. Use the nice filtered and remineralized water, and put an organic, freshly juiced lemon, like a half of a lemon, in like a cup of water, and put a pinch of sea salt. Celtic salt would be even better. Just make sure it's not table salt, because that also has drying agents in it. And I like to put in a like a quarter of a teaspoon of cream of tartar, as well. So I would I would definitely do a hydration drink just to see if you're dehydrated, which a lot of people are. Because drinking a lot of water doesn't mean that you are hydrating yourself. A lot of times the cells can't even take in the the water because they don't have the right nutrients. So what I would do is I would take Irish sea moss supplements. Human Garage has great capsule supplements, but you can also do freeze-dried survival moss. I personally don't like gel form. It tastes funny. It tastes like iodine. But you can also get it in gel form. I would also take food grade diatomaceous earth. You can start out with a half of a teaspoon and then work up to 1 to 2 tablespoons a day. I just put it, like a lot of times I'll put it in just a shot of water and like lemon juice and the sea salt, and do a shot. You can put it in your smoothies, on your food, and you can also take baths with a cup of diatomaceous earth. The diatomaceous earth has silica, which a lot of people don't have enough silica in their system. Silica is a major component in collagen production. So all of these adhesions are actually collagen that is created from injury a lot of time, because that's what moves in when we get injured, to help repair. So for hydration, I would make sure that you're getting enough nutrients. The Irish sea moss has 92 nutrients, and enough silica, getting inflammation out of your body. So taking a good curcumin supplement is a good idea. But yes, that's what I would do for hydration. Also, our fascia prefers spiralized movements, due to the formation being in the womb, where we were having very spiralized kind of movements over linear movements. So if you're doing a lot of just regular exercises where you're doing very linear movements, it is dehydrating for your fascia and bad for your joints. So the important thing is to get out of stress, because stress is dehydrating for your fascia, which that's what the fascial maneuvers will do. Did I forget to do the organ reset? I did. Okay, so anyway, that's what I do for hydration. How am I doing? I'm already at an hour. Okay, so the organ reset we're going to charge our hands because we are an electrical system. Our bodies are very electrical, piezoelectric. So we're building up a charge here, and we're gonna rub our knuckles together. And we're going to do this with a lot of intention. Make sure that you're visualizing the energy running between your hands. We put the left hand on the back of the neck, but you can also, if you have mobility issues, you can put it on your chest. On the back of the neck, we're going to find a spot halfway between our belly button and our right hip bone. Or you can find the belly button, go 2 inches over and 2 inches down. And with the right hand, you can just put your hand on the ileocecal valve, or you can torque the skin, thumbs up. Here, we're going to breathe in through the nose. 2, 3, in through the mouth. 2, 3. And now we're going to move our hand up to the area right underneath our right rib cage and either touch it or torque it there. So this is where our liver and gallbladder are. We store anger and resentment here. So if you know that you have a lot of anger and resentment issues, I would do this more than once a day. So we're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. 2, 3, in through the mouth. 2 and 3. Thank you, liver, for holding all of the anger and resentment that I could not process. I'm ready to let it go now. So I'm going to move my right hand over to the area underneath my left rib cage and pull the fascia towards the right side. This is our stomach. We store our beliefs and our doubts here. So we're going to breathe in through the nose. 2, 3, in through the mouth. 2, 3. All right. My ability to hold my arm up has gotten so much better. But if you need to take a break, let's take a break. Let's charge the hands up. We're gonna move to the valve of Houston on the left-hand side, halfway between our belly button and our left hip bone. Grab it with the right hand and pull it towards the belly button. If you want to turn it and torque it, that's up to you. The important thing is just create some tension there and intention to heal this area. So we're going to breathe in through the nose. 2, 3, in through the mouth. 2, 3. And you may notice that your racing thoughts have subsided. And if you have a lot of racing thoughts, I would do that one more than one time a day. So we're going to charge the bladder. So this one you can do a little squat. You're going to look for the meaty area above your pubic bone, and you're going to grab a good chunk of fascia and pull up. I'm going to squish my butt cheeks together and push my hips forward, pull in that spinal pelvic lock, and we're going to breathe in through the nose. 2, 3, in through the mouth. 2, 3. The bladder is where we store fear. And I thank you, bladder, for holding the fear that I could not process. I am ready to let it go now. Thank you. Thank you, bladder, for storing all the fear that I could not process. Fear is just false evidence appearing real. So, we're going to charge the kidneys. So find the nipple line. We're going to pin and lock on the rib cage and then pull down. We're going to put our left hand on the back of her neck. We're going to lean to the left and look to the right. And we're going to do 3 activating breaths. And now we're going to breathe in through the nose. 2, 3, in through the mouth. 2, 3. Now we'll do that on the opposite side. So find that nipple line. We're going to put our right hand on the back of her neck. We're going to pin and lock the fascia on our left rib cage and pull down. We're going to look to the left and lean to the right and do that activating breath. And we'll breathe in through the nose. 2, 3, in through the mouth. 2, and 3. All right, so we're going to do the spleen. So the spleen is underneath the rib cage, but we're going to move our thumb to the left of the spine here. We're going to grab the fascia underneath the rib cage here and squish it. We're going to put our right hand on the back of her neck. And this time we put our chin to her chest and slightly lean to the right and forward. You should feel that area underneath your thumb activate. And we're charging the spleen. So in through the nose. 2, 3, in through the mouth. 2, and 3. We're going to put our right hand at the bottom of her neck, and we're going to pull the fascia up for charging the thyroid. So put the left hand on the back of the neck. We're going to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. 2, 3, in through the mouth. 2, 3. Thank you, thyroid, for allowing me to speak my truth. I love speaking my truth today. And now we end with a heart-mind coherence. So we put our right hand on the heart and our left hand on the head. And take a moment to feel the beating of your brain and the beating of your heart. And we want them to beat together. So we'll breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Thank you, heart, for being in charge today. Thank you, brain, for taking care of all of the basics. I appreciate my heart being in charge today. My heart knows what I need the best, or want the best. So, headaches for hip pain. For hip pain, I really enjoyed anti-gravity. And I know that pretzel squat helped a lot, but I can show you one maneuver that we haven't done. And this is the hip release. So you can do this on your bed if you need to. we will put our right leg over our left, and then we lift both legs up and grab the ankles if you need to. You can, if you have pants on, you can grab your pants, but you want to pull both ankles towards you. And we're going to like look to the right, but you can change it around if you need to, and see if different positions hit a tender spot for you. Pull in that spinal pelvic lock, and we're going to breathe. This one is best if you do for 1 to 3 minutes. For time purposes, I'm only going to do like 9 breaths. We're going to breathe in through the nose. 2, 3, and really notice whether where breathing changes when we breathe in through the mouth. If it feels different. 2 and 3, and we're gonna do, I forgot. We'll just do 6. But you should do 1 to 3 minutes to get the benefits of that one. And for time purposes, I'm only going to do it on one side today. But I do recommend that you do both sides. Otherwise, you'll be out of balance. And I would walk around in between all of your maneuvers for 1 to 3 minutes. So that was for hip pain. If you have jaw pain, which I just recently had, which was actually activated by stress. I kept watching all the doom and gloom scrolls. So one day, a couple of weeks ago, I had clicking and jaw pain, and I did this maneuver, and the next day it went away. So we're going to do our right fingers back and our left fingers forward, and we're going to twist this way. So find the meaty part over your jaw joint, and fingers back on the right side and fingers forward on the left side. And then we're going to squeeze them like we're popping a pimple and twist till your both sides are fingers up. And this one you can actually open and close your mouth too while we're breathing. So in through the nose, 2 or 3. It's not easy to breathe and open your mouth at the same time, for me anyway. So we'll also, you can move around in different positions. Turn your head left and right. Just get in as many different positions as possible. But breathe, because breath is what really helps the fascia release. So I did that one, and then I also did another one. Now this one hurts a lot in the beginning because a lot of the fascia on the head is really painful. So this one you're going to go along the inside, so you're all the way back to the molars on the top here, and your finger on the side. And this one looks silly, but it helps a lot. So you're going to open and breathe and move around. So that one might help with your headaches too. So for headaches, which I used to have a lot of, what I would do is take your right hand at your brow line, and your left hand grab your hair, and you're going to twist in opposite directions. So I'm doing right hand right, left hand left, And we're going to breathe and move around. So 3, 'And when you have a headache, which I think I started this but then got sidetracked, I would do the hydration thing, and then I would do this. I would do more breaths probably, because the longer you do that, the better it will feel. So I do that also on the left hand side, going the opposite direction. And then another, some of your headache issues might be from, it really depends on what kind of headache you have. If you have a sinus headache, I would do this one. So pin and lock with the left hand on the right hand side of the base of the nose. And when take the right hand and pin and lock the fascia on your cheekbone. You don't want it to slide, but you want to create as much tension in between the two as you can. And breathe and move around. So we've done hip pain, neck pain, shoulder pain. So with shoulder pain, I would do swinger and pull over, but I would also put my my right hand on my right shoulder here, and then pin and lock the fascia on the elbow. You want to torque it the way that creates the most tension for you, and we're going to pull it all the way up. We're going to look under our right armpit and then step behind us with the right foot and really lean towards the left. And we'll breathe here. Pull in that spinal pelvic lock and breathe in through the nose. 2, 3. And you can move around in this too. So breathe in through the mouth. 2. And 3. You can also have, if you have a partner, you could have them stand in front of you here and have them pull down on your fascia, and you'll really pull away from them while they're pulling away from you, and you'll both breathe and move around. Those are great for the shoulders. I'm trying to think if there's what else. Oh, digestion. For digestive purposes, I would do the psoas release every time you eat. So we're going to find the spot in between our belly button and our right hip bone. And with the left hand, you're going to grab the fascia and pull it towards the belly button. With the right hand, now this one in the beginning, there was a lot of ripping and tearing sensations. That's just dehydrated fascia and the adhesions starting to release, and they release through the breath. So I put my right hand in between my hip bone and this other hand to create even more tension and find more spots, that adhesions that we need to break up. So I step forward with my left foot, and you can move around in this position if you want and see where you're holding your tension. Pull in your spinal pelvic lock. You're going to arch your back and look up at the sky if you have good balance. Keep your eyes open. If you don't have good balance, you can just look ahead. We'll breathe in through the nose. 2, 3. In through the mouth. 2 and 3. And then you also want to do that on the left side. So, and you want to walk in between. So to integrate that, I'm going to take my right hand in that halfway point in between my belly button and my hip bone. I'm going to pull towards my belly button, and then I'm going to step forward with my right foot, and I'm also going to look for that spot of tension that I'm trying to release, and then make sure that spinal pelvic lock is engaged. We're going to arch our back and look up at the sky if we can, and breathe in through the nose. 2, 3, in through the mouth. 2 and 3. So that is what I would do for digestive issues. I would also make sure that I'm taking food grade diatomaceous earth. It will pull out parasites, heavy metals, toxins from your system. It helps cleanse our gut, basically. So hydration. I think I've covered everything today. Have a great day.